They say that your life can change in an instant. One moment, everything is normal, and the next, you're plunged into a nightmare you never thought possible. I was just an ordinary guy with an ordinary life. My name is Alex, and I work as a software developer in a small tech firm. I have or had a routine. Wake up, grab coffee from the corner shop, head to work, come home, unwind with some video games or a book, then sleep. Rinse and repeat. But now, as I sit here in my dimly lit apartment, hunched over my laptop and typing frantically, I realize how fragile that normalcy was. I'm writing this down because I need someone, anyone, to understand what's happening to me. Maybe you can make sense of it when I can't. Maybe you can help me. It started about 3 weeks ago. I remember the date clearly, May 14th. It was a Tuesday, unremarkable in every way. I woke up, showered, and left for my usual coffee run. The barista, Sarah, greeted me with her usual chirpy, "Morning, Alex, the usual?" I nodded, fumbling for my wallet. That's when it happened. As I reached into my back pocket, my fingers brushed against something unexpected. Confused, I pulled it out. It was a crumpled piece of paper, worn and stained at the edges. Unfolding it carefully, I noticed that the notes scribbled across it were in my own handwriting, but I didn't recognize them. The words seemed almost nonsensical, like fragments of a dream. They're in the ads, hidden messages, must decode. Need a way to find the door without handles, and don't let the man in gray follow you. Goosebumps prickled my skin as I stared at the strange, cryptic messages, wondering how they ended up in my pocket and what they could possibly mean. "That's interesting," Sarah commented as she handed me my latte. "New hobby? Writing cryptic notes to yourself?" I stared at the paper, a chill running down my spine. "No, I have no idea where this came from." She laughed it off, probably thinking I was joking. But I wasn't. I had never seen that paper or those notes before in my life. That night, I couldn't sleep. I kept staring at the crumpled paper, trying to decipher the bizarre messages and remember how it got into my pocket. Did I absent-mindedly write these down somewhere? Did someone slip it in as a prank? The more I thought about it, the more unsettled I became. It wasn't just that I didn't know where the paper came from. It was the growing realization that I couldn't remember chunks of my day. I remember getting to work, sitting at my desk, starting to code. Then, nothing. The next clear memory I have is standing in front of my apartment door. What happened in between? Did I go to lunch? Did I talk to my colleagues? I had no idea. For a moment, a chilling thought crossed my mind. Early onset dementia? A brain tumor? However, I decided that before I schedule an appointment for some medical checkups, I should observe things more carefully. The next day, I was determined to pay closer attention. I even set alarms on my phone to remind me to check in with myself every hour. Where are you? What are you doing? Simple questions to keep me grounded. 9 a.m. At my desk, coding, all normal. 10 a.m., still coding. Remembered to refill my water bottle. 11 a.m., went to the bathroom, came back, resumed work. 12 p.m., blank. Nothing. The next thing I knew, I was back in my apartment. It was 6:30 p.m. I had lost over 6 hours. My phone showed the alarms had gone off, but I had no recollection of dismissing them. Panicked, I checked my work email. Apparently, I'd sent out my part of the project, attended a meeting, and even had a one-on-one with my manager. She had sent a follow-up email. "Great chat today, Alex. Glad to hear you're taking some time off. You've been working hard. You deserve it. See you in a couple of weeks." Time off? Hadn't requested any leave. I scrambled to find my calendar, but it was wiped clean for the next 2 weeks. What was happening to me? That night, the dream started. I found myself in a long, dark corridor. The walls were lined with doors, hundreds of them. I moved down the corridor, trying each door, but none would open. The further I went, the narrower the passage became. It became harder and harder to move forward. Then, at the end, there was one last door. It was a small door. The door glinted in the darkness, almost beckoning. But there was no handle. I woke up, gasping. My sheets were drenched in sweat. A notebook lay on my bedside table. Oddly, the pages of this notebook seemed to match the crumpled paper I had found in my pocket. Had I put it there? I couldn't remember. The next few days blurred together. I'd have moments of clarity, little islands of memory, in a sea of blankness. I found myself in places I didn't recognize. A bookstore I'd never visited. A park on the outskirts of the city. Once even on a ferry heading to one of the nearby islands. Each time, I tried to recall the finer details of how I got there. Or what I did I couldn't remember. I tried to talk to people. I really did. I called my parents, but halfway through the conversation, I lost track of what I was saying. They put it down to stress. "You're working too hard, sweetie," Mom said. "Take it easy." I even tried Sarah at the coffee shop. "Have I been acting weird lately?" I asked her one morning. "You haven't been around for a while, Alex. I thought you were on vacation or something." Her eyes darted away just for a second. There it was again. Time off, a vacation. But her eyes, it was like she knew something she wasn't telling me. Where was I going during these lost hours? What was I doing? It was during one of these blackouts that I woke up in my apartment, sitting at my desk. In front of me was the notebook again. It was just blank pages, except for one entry. "The key is the door, and the door is the key. To remember is to forget, and to forget is to remember. Choose wisely, for each turn locks away a piece of you." The handwriting looked disturbingly familiar. It was mine. That night, the dream changed. I was in the corridor again, but this time, as I moved, I noticed something strange. Each door I passed had something etched on it. A date, a name, a memory. First kiss, July 12th, 2008. Dad's funeral, March 3rd, 2019. Job offer, September 15th, 2021. At the end of the corridor, I found the small door again. The door without a handle. This time it had writing too. Today, June 8th, 2024. My hands trembling, I tried to push the door open. The door creaked open, revealing not a room, but a mirror. In it, I saw myself, but not as I am now. This version of me was gaunt, eyes sunken, hair unkempt. Behind me, were stacks of journals, walls covered in scribbled notes and photos. Mirror me spoke, his voice a rasp. "You found the door, you found me. Good, now you can forget again." "Forget what?" I asked. I laughed bitterly. "Everything, the truth. It's too much, you see. What we discovered, what we know, it'll drive you mad." It drove me mad, so I found a way out. An unsettling chill crept through me. "What did we discover?" I asked nervously. "Patterns," he whispered. "In everything. The coffee shop, the ferry routes, the parks. They're not random. None of it is. It's all connected, all part of their plan. They're watching, always watching. And if they were to find out that we are onto their scheme, He shuddered. "Who are they?" I demanded. But he just shook his head. "Better not to know. Just lock it all away, one memory at a time. It's the only way to stay sane." I woke up with a start, the notebook clenched tightly in my fist. The dream lingered, more vivid than ever. Was it just a nightmare or something more? A message from another version of myself? Over the next few days, the gaps in my memory grew longer. I'd lose whole days, only to find myself in strange places with no recollection of how I got there. But now there was a pattern. Each time I woke up, I'd find a new entry in the notebook. Locked away, the name of the man who followed you on the ferry. He won't hurt you now. Locked away, the conversation you overheard in the bookstore. Ignorance is bliss. Locked away, the symbol you saw spray painted in the park. Some things aren't meant to be understood. Was I going crazy? Or was I protecting myself from some unspeakable truth? The idea that my life, that everyone's lives, could be part of some grand, sinister design was too much to bear. But the evidence was mounting. The coincidences were too precise, the patterns too perfect. I began to notice things I hadn't before. How the same people seemed to show up wherever I went. How conversations would halt when I entered the room. Once I caught a glimpse of a tattoo on Sarah's wrist as she handed me my coffee. A small, intricate symbol that sent a jolt of recognition through me. It was the same symbol from the park. They were all in on it. Everyone. Watching me, monitoring me. But why? What made me so special? Or was everyone a target? Each of us just a cog in their machine? The questions were maddening. I couldn't eat, couldn't sleep. I pored over my notes, the journals, trying to piece together the fragments of memory I'd left. But the more I uncovered, the more I forgot. That's why I'm writing this now. As a record, a confession, a warning. I don't know who will find this or when. Maybe it'll be dismissed as the ravings of a madman. Maybe that's for the best. Because tomorrow, I'm gonna lock it all away. Every discovery, every suspicion, every fear. I'll go back to my routine. Wake up, get coffee, go to work. I'll smile at Sarah, nod at my colleagues, and never question the patterns again. To whoever reads this, be careful. Watch for the signs. The recurring faces, the overheard whispers, the symbols hidden in plain sight. They're there, even if you don't want to see them. And if it gets to be too much, if you start to unravel the grand design and feel your sanity slipping away, well, maybe you'll find the door too. And maybe forgetting will be the kindest thing you can do for yourself. So if you notice gaps in your memory, moments you can't account for, don't dig, don't question, just forget.